Hello, my name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about a new New York City law, and it is around bias audits in automated decision-making systems. So in the summer of 2023, New York had a law that went into effect. It's called Law 144. Law 44 is related to any companies that have employees who are based in New York City, related to how those employees get evaluated during a hiring process. So it will basically be employees or potential employees when they apply for jobs. This law is really focused on automated decision making. So basically these tools that companies are using to possibly weed out certain candidates during a process. And what they want to see is more transparency in that process. So these companies will be required on an annual basis to do a bias audit of their systems. They will have to post the results of that audit on their website. When anyone who is applying for a job in any of these places, they need to let them know that they're going through some type of bias audit system. The point of it is that they want to make sure that companies are very clear on the objective things that they're looking for in jobs. An example of a problem that would come up in this type of bias system is that, say for instance, you had 100 candidates for a job, the AI system maybe weeded out 40 of them, and maybe a human only gets to look at 60. So this law is trying to make sure that for the 40 people who are weeded out, they want to know why those systems do that. So I think it's going to be very incumbent upon companies, even if they buy these systems, the response or the risk will be on those companies to be able to explain what those AI systems are doing, how candidates got either selected or not selected, what type of level of human review is related in those employment systems, so that they make sure that there isn't any type of mechanical or digital bias in those systems. I think New York is early on a lot of cities looking at this, even though Illinois has had a AI employment screening law for several years. I think that this New York law is along that vein, where they're trying to make sure that if companies are using these higher level technologies, that they're able to explain what these systems are doing. They're able to be transparent with people so that they know and understand what these systems are doing. They want to make sure that there's a level of accountability. So even if, as I said, even if companies buy these tools, they can't just raise their hands up and say, hey, I don't know what's happening. That's not going to be an acceptable way to move forward. And I think that as we see these types of laws go ahead on a city and state level, I think that they'll possibly increase on a state level for sure, and there will possibly be something at a federal level at some point. So this falls under the category of automated decision making, and we see a lot of laws either in the US on the state level and internationally, like things like the EU's GDPR, try to tackle automated decision making. So there has to be transparency there. There has to be, in this case, audits for bias. There has to be knowledge within the organization so that someone within the organization knows what's happening in these systems. And then there has to be a level of accountability. So I think that these laws are really trying to get to is when you bring on these types of systems within your companies, it is raising your risk as an organization, but also your responsibility in how you use them in the future. That's it. Thank you.